Hi. I still remember that day, early 2020. I was still fairly new to Airbnb, and I got a call from a senior member of Airbnb's e-staff asking if I would be interested in joining the trust team. I had never done a job in fraud, risk, trust, and safety before. I was nervous, terrified, and yet excited at the same time. And I thought Airbnb is a company that was founded on trust. And if there is a team that is closest to the mission of the company to foster connection and belonging in our communities, this is that team. So I took the plunge anyway, and here I am. Hi, I'm Naba. If any of you have had a similar story to mine, where you have been offered an opportunity that made you nervous and excited at the same time, type it in the chat. This is me with my family, my 5 kids. Coco, our little pit bull hybrid dog, is missing in the picture, but he is a very active member of our family. My oldest son, Roshan, is in his first year of college. My second daughter, Nayanika, is choosing colleges right now. So, as you can imagine, my life is constantly in chaos and is wonderful. And I can't wait to tell you more about it someday. But let's move on to women in product. My journey with women in product actually has been a long one. I was here on the Women in Product stage in 2018, talking to all of you about how I was applying product management principles to my career. And I have been product managing my career since then. My journey with machine learning and AI started back in 2018 when I took on the job of leading search at Walmart.com and Walmart Grocery. And since then, I have continued on my journey working with ML and AI. And today I am applying those practices in trust. And the picture on the right is me at the Fortune AI conference recently, where I spoke about how we are using AI for trust. So let me first talk to you about Airbnb and our scale. This is a company where we have welcomed more than 1 billion guests till date. We have more than 4 million hosts who open up their homes every single day to complete strangers. And we have more than 6 million listings on the platform. And the trust team that I lead, what do we exactly do? Along the entire customer journey, whether you are just considering Airbnb, creating an account, searching for that perfect home or perfect experience, or trying to publish your home as a listing on Airbnb, you're checking in, you're staying, you're leaving a review. Along every step of the journey, we want to make sure that you can focus on what matters. You can focus on being the perfect host, on creating amazing memories with your family, while my team behind the scenes is trying to anticipate and predict if something could possibly go wrong. And we are using a very strong foundation of machine learning, AI, rules, humans to try and anticipate these risks and reducing the occurrence of these risks as much as possible. But let's flash back to 2020 when I just joined the trust team. The world was starting to realize that what this pandemic was going to mean to us. We were in lockdown mode. And I was just starting to learn what trust and safety meant to this company and to our communities. And we were seeing a spike in unauthorized parties. Bars and hotels had shut down. People didn't have a place to throw parties, so they were starting to use Airbnbs. And we, as a trust and safety team, had to do something. Yes, we were seeing attempts of fraud attacks, bot attacks, and financial fraud, but this party problem was new. We had not seen anyone else in the industry who had dealt with this kind of a problem, and we had to do something. So, what did we do? You don't start with machine learning right away. You first try to understand the problem. You first try to look at all of the data. So, our team started looking at all of these different unauthorized party incidents, and we started to look at patterns and common signals. And what we found was usually when these parties were getting thrown, we found that the younger people were potentially booking these listings. They were booking them for one night, maybe around weekends or during holidays, which have a high risk of parties such as New Year's Eve, Halloween. These were usually getting booked for one night or 2 nights, an entire home listing. And the person booking usually had a residential address that was not that far from the place that they were booking. These signals started to come together to give us some clues about what usually happens that leads to these unauthorized parties. So, first and foremost, what we did was creating a global party ban in order to create education and awareness in our communities that we as Airbnb wanted to create peace of mind for our hosts, we wanted to create perfect stays for our guests, and we wanted to be good neighbors to our communities where we operated in. Once we created this global party ban, we implemented a rule, a really strong rule known as our under 25 rule, which looked at some of these factors, such as a young user who didn't have much history or positive reviews on the platform, who was booking for a single night, an entire home listing, and lived pretty close by to the listing being booked, their bookings would be redirected to either a private room or a hotel where the risk of a party is pretty low. But as soon as we put this rule in place, we started learning from that. Because whenever there is a rule, it does work. We saw a reduction in parties, but then we also saw some bad actors starting to bypass these rules. If you are an underage user, you would try to get a parent or an older friend to book the listing for you. Instead of one night stay, you might book a 2 to 3 night stay. And we also saw that these blunt rules were having a pretty strong impact on some of our good users who had no intention to throw a party and were simply looking for a peaceful weekend away. And so, in parallel, we started experimenting with a machine learning solution. And one of the first pilots that we did was in Australia in 2021, where we had our model learn from multiple incidents, looked at hundreds of factors, and were able to see that this machine learning solution was turning out to be as effective, if not more effective, than the rule-based solution, and had a far lesser impact on our good users. With the success of that experiment, we then started expanding to North America, and so on and so forth. And so machine learning is not for the sake of machine learning, but you start with the problem, you understand the data, you first stem the problem by putting in place policies and rules. You learn from the impact that those policies and rules create, and in parallel, start building out your machine learning solutions. You launch them, you learn along the way, and then you keep iterating and perfecting your craft. And so fast forward to 2022, where we first announced our anti-party tech, which was nothing but the combination of our policies as well as our machine learning solutions that we were putting in place. And I'm proud to say that over the last 2 years, through a combination of our policies, our rules, our machine learning solutions, our humans in the loop, our operations teams that have been working tirelessly night and day to tackle this problem, we have seen more than a 55% drop across the last 2 years in party incidents on the platform. And so just to recap, for those of you who are working on implementing machine learning solutions to solve your business problems, the framework is simple. As you see in the slide here, you start by learning what the problem truly is, by looking at the data, by learning common patterns and signals. And then initially, if the problem is burning enough, stem the problem. Don't be afraid to use rules. Don't be afraid to implement policies in place. Learn from them. They give you really valuable data. And then in the background, start experimenting with machine learning solutions. And with the advancement of AI and ML, instead of hundreds of factors, you can now have your model learn from billions of signals and probably accelerate and turbocharge the problem that you're trying to solve through your machine learning innovation. And we are just honestly getting started. There is so much that we can do. One of the things that we are really reflecting on in the world of trust and safety, that we have traditionally looked for evidence of bad behavior or bad actors, which is like looking for a needle in a haystack. But 99.99% of our users are actually good users. So instead of just having our models learn from risky behavior, anomalous behavior, we are starting to flip the switch and really starting to learn from what good behavior looks like. How do good users interact with each other? How often do they plan their trips in advance? What kind of reviews do they leave? How do they interact with customer support? Do they check in on time? Do they check out on time? There is so much that we can learn about good user behavior that can then make us be really good at what kind of experiences we create for our good guests, our good hosts, and also get really good at then detecting risky behavior because we are so good now at knowing what good behavior looks like. Similarly, AI and ML are great tools when it comes to natural language processing. The in-app message content is a great area where we can learn and try to understand when potentially discriminatory behavior is happening on the platform or fraudulent behavior is happening on the platform. We can use that to get really good at detecting fake reviews or use AI to detect fake listing photos. We are on the verge of something really huge and disruptive. We can completely disrupt the way we do customer support, the way we do search and matching. The possibilities are absolutely endless. And that is not all. Something that I would love to leave you all with is on my AI and ML journey, I have just been so proud of the work that we have done that I got a chance to be on national TV to brag about our team's work. And I can't wait to see where this AI revolution takes us and how far we are going to go in the world of knowing who really our good users are and what we can do to make our platform safer than ever so that you, as fellow product managers, fellow guests, and hosts on Airbnb, can focus on what really matters, which is belonging, connection, and awesomeness on our platform. Thank you. This is Naba. Can't wait to see you all again in the next Women in Product conference. Tell me your AI journey and where you have used AI to create magic in your product careers. Can't wait. See you. Thank you.